Tonight, President Trump is firing officials who could have slowed his big plans to reshape D.C. The White House sent an email terminating all 6 members of the Commission of Fine Arts, which is an independent federal agency charged with advising Washington, Congress, and the president on matters of design and aesthetics. Now, President Biden also removed Trump's appointees from the same board back in 2021. But these firings are coming as the president is tearing up the East Wing to put in a massive ballroom. And he plans on adding a triumphal arch to DC's architecture. That's something the commission is supposed to review as well. So you kind of have to give them credit for their efficiency here. They know where the roadblocks are, and they're going right at them. In a way, you can't knock him for getting rid of the commission, but I also think that now we know that the process is kind of rigged.
Well, I say, first of all, good riddance to this commission. It's a group of elitists who don't share the aesthetic or artistic tastes of most Americans.
They're architects.
For example, they are architects, and you know what? They're artistic.
I love the former lieutenant governor talking about elitists, but okay.
Sheehan, right, who was the chair of this commission until recently, is responsible for probably the ugliest public building in America, the new
Trump
Obama
Tower.
Center in Chicago, which is this huge concrete, bulbous, misshaping structure that really mars the Chicago landscape. It looks like an ode to the gulag. So don't trust his taste. And Trump is abiding by what most Americans want, which is public architecture that is monumental, maybe gold, and patriotic. And I say go for it.
I mean,
that's what
I don't know what this
I
is
just
about.
want you to know she came prepared and loaded for bear for this segment.
She was
I am
ready.
so glad to see
She was ready to go.
Can I just say, all of this stuff makes me want to scream, because at least if you're going to consolidate this much power, at least be original. At least don't, copy every single authoritarian who came before you, who also did, every single one of them, Putin, Stalin, all of them.
Barack Obama adding a basketball court.
It went through a federal review.
Say
saying
that I know what good taste is, I know what art is, I know what portraiture is, I know what poetry is, I know what music is. And so I'm going to determine what the nation hears, because my taste is the nation's taste.
It's also a direct.
The personalization of it is just so utterly unoriginal.
There is I've used through line twice tonight, but there is a direct through line between just the destruction of impediments in their way and the fact that rules, ethics don't really govern the Trump White House. And before you take umbrage to it, let me tell you what my through line is. I think when you look at reports that the Trump Corporation this year has made over $850 million already, $800 million just from a crypto coin, that foreign governments have put money in to influence what's going on in this country. When you look at the fact that they are Don Jr., for example, who doesn't necessarily have a skill set, but he sits on the board of a drone company that he invested $4 million in, which just won a Pentagon contract. When you look at those things and you see that the ethics and the rules don't really apply.
Sounds like Burisma. Remember the company in Ukraine?
But if it was bad then,
that's my question.
If it was bad then, why are you doing it now?
You're critical as I was.
Because it has to do with the ballroom, right?
No,
But it does. And that's
That's
my point. So there are rules and regulations and regulatory bodies that the Trump family doesn't believe applies to them. And so when we're talking about the commission, when you get rid of the commission so you can push through things, I think that it shows that you believe ethics don't matter. And so, yeah, I'm glad you brought up Burisma, because that was a talking point for 4 years. And you know what? If Hunter Biden committed something unethical, whatever, it was wrong and bad. But if I can say that, why can't you say that it's wrong?
I don't see anything unethical yet. I haven't heard anything.
You don't know that Donald Trump Jr. sits on a board right now that he invested $4 million in that got a Pentagon contract?
What about the fact that the president what about the fact that the president just pardoned the head of Binance, and now all of a sudden that very same company, now able to operate fully in the United States, is promoting the Trump crypto platform. So that is also a thing that literally just happened.
Or Donald Trump Jr. opening up an exclusive members-only club where he and other Trump family members socialize, and the cost of membership is $500,000. Speaking of everyday Americans who have $500,000 to spare in a club membership.
But let me ask you something.
So is that okay?
Do you think that the
buy
president, who's
access to the
empowered by the
president's
Constitution to control the armed forces, shouldn't have the power to build a ballroom?
He should have all the power. He should do whatever he wants.
I'm
Like a
just
dictator.
saying,
It'll be
it
great.
seems ridiculous.
Let me just play
I think
this
what's
because
clear is that like none of the rules actually matter, right? Like how fragile our democracy really
Well, they
is.
matter for
how
our perceived
rules-
enemies.
But
Well-
like this is the thing. Like if the administration decides, you know what, we don't want to follow the rules. We're going to do whatever we want. There really aren't
Guardrails.
guardrails.
So
exactly.
Julia brought
This
up
commission did not
earlier.
have the power
Julia
to
brought
stop
up
the ballroom.
earlier in the
care
conversation
that
that
much
she
about the
thinks
ballroom,
that
gotta
what
be
this is
honest.
all about is Trump doesn't want to leave. He's building, these sort of edifices that he wants to enjoy for a long time. He's also been asked about and talked about having a third term, and here's what he said on Monday about that.
I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know, but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't.
As with a lot of things with Trump, he could just say the Constitution bars me from having a third term, and he won't say it, which kind of feeds into what Julia was saying earlier today.
I think he likes that we're talking about this right now. I mean, but look, as far as the ballroom goes, Trump has had a bee in his bonnet about this ballroom since the Obama administration, when he said that he reached out to David Axelrod, wanted to give Obama $100 million. This is a lot less than. You're talking about that earring. He wanted to give Obama money to build the ballroom. He's wanted to do it since then. And in another Washington Post article, there was reporting that Biden and Obama staffers were saying, we need this.
Yes.
People
Well,
were in porta potties.
and look,
Porta
And I
potties,
gotta say,
can you imagine
to
foreign
hear
dignitaries in porta potties?
the
That is
outrage
something
from the
else.
left, though, it feels extremely ironic that these are the same people celebrating statues being torn down of George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and now there's concern about erasing history. It kind of feels like the outrage is all over.
Let me just say that I wasn't a big statue taker downer. That wasn't my ministry. I wasn't
Speaking for himself.
I wasn't a big.
But can I just? Here's the thing about the ballroom and this
Robert E. Lee
commission.
doesn't belong up.
I wonder
my
if
point.
there is any reasonable point to make that there should be somebody who has some context for history and for architecture that takes a look at a plan for a ballroom that is supposed to be bigger than the actual White House itself, and what that will do to the structure, to the landscape of the White House compound.
And that it doesn't
I mean,
belong, and that it doesn't belong
somebody
to
review
Donald
that?
Trump personally. And that if Donald Trump wanted to give $100 million when Barack Obama was in office, great, but it's not his. It belongs to all of us. And the fact that it was
No one's
unilaterally
contesting it.
changed.
But also, I think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The fact that it was unilaterally changed, the fact that it is done to one man's taste. I also, Betsy, is there one thing Donald Trump has done that you don't like?
I've made it clear there are many things.
Tell
and
me
I
one.
certainly
Like what?
don't support
Tell me
a
one.
third term. And what much more important than my view, the American people are never going to vote for a third term for any president.
I mean,
But-
it might not even
but-
be up
No
to
way.
the
But-
American
but
people.
one of the
Who's going to
things-
do that?
And you raise
When
checks
consider-
and balances. We have a Supreme Court. That's way
Barely.
too. Sure. And look,
cute.
I want to
That's
be fair to
cute.
the Supreme
you
Court
kidding?
because they have passed down some rulings that surprise me. They don't necessarily go along with everything the Trump administration wants to do. So I don't want to discredit the Supreme Court. There have been times
They
where
do it themselves
they
just
did-
fine.
Well, fair. But look, the point that I want to make is when it comes to the White House and just consider how young our country is, right? And I'm going to take the White House out of it for a second and put it in the context of real estate in California. Whenever there's like a historical house or something, I can't stand the fact that oftentimes that house will get purchased by some wealthy family and then they tear it down. And the reason why that bothers me is because you want history to remain, right? You want some historical buildings to stay the way they are. And I have no problem with remodeling the White House or making improvements to the White House. But the reason why the commission exists is so you can maintain the historical relevance and structural integrity.
But I
People
think,
are
I
missing
think
out.
what I
People are
think is
missing out.
incredible is that we would be, I think, two of our guests here would be much more upset if the White House tore down not the East Wing, but a statue of Robert E. Lee. right? Like you care about some history, but not other history.
But I think that
it just depends who's doing.
I care
It just
a lot
depends
about history,
who.
but
I think it
What I
just
was gonna
depends
say-
on
what I
who
was
is
gonna
tearing
say
it
is that
down.
a lot of Republicans have made this argument about we need a ballroom. I heard it, or they were using the bathroom outside in porta potties, and you miss the fact that people are coming because they enjoy the freedom that the White House represents. They're not coming because of the ornaments. They're not coming because of gold or ballrooms or chairs or China. They're coming because they want to breathe the air that
and they're
represents
still going
freedom.
to come and they won't have to use a porta potty anymore.
Right.
Oh, well,
And I would
congratulations.
suggest that most
Next for us, a
modern
judge
governments
in
have a ballroom in
a
their
judge in
capital.
Chicago